Hello everybody and welcome back to On Point HQ, the channel where we're still sometimes a bit too scared to roll those dice. Well, hope everyone's having a rather spiffy weekend so far. The weather here has been strange today. It's been sunny one minute and then torrential rain the next. I appreciate that was a very British way to start a video by talking about the weather. So I'll move on to the actual contents of today's video. What's that? Space Hulk. If anyone saw the previous video that I did, where I went through that classic edition of White Dwarf from 1991, you'll know that I mentioned in there that I've recently been painting the contents of my 2009 edition of Space Hulk. It's only taken 10 years to get around to doing them, but better late than never in my opinion. First thing I gotta say is the figures are really good. They're snap fit, all of them. Some of the Genestealers come in one lump, but the Terminators and the majority of the Genestealers, they're all snap fit, but they're really good. In fact, the last time I actually played Space Hulk, now I know that playing any game with unpainted miniatures is sacrilege, it should be avoided, and is punishable by some pretty awful punishments. But the last time I played Space Hulk was in 2010, and I'd not really looked at the figures since then. They've actually been sat in a cupboard since I moved here. And so I thought, well, I've not painted anything apart from those Necromunda Van Saar that I painted the week. I've not really painted anything sci-fi related in a long time. So let's crack out the Space Hulk figures, get them painted, and start playing Space Hulk again. When I was revisiting them, I thought these figures are really good. Yes, the snap fit, but the detail. In fact, just a point in the detail, they're very busy looking figures. Really detailed, very busy. In fact, skulls. I know there's a running joke within 40k that in the far-flung grim dark universe there is only skulls, and in the case of these guys, that's very true. Skulls everywhere, skulls aplenty, skulls upon skulls. In fact, this guy here with lightning claws, I think I counted 13 skulls. 13, that's skullerific on his armour alone. But it's 40k, what can you do? There's skulls everywhere. But I digress. Onto the miniatures. So, anyone that knows me knows that when I paint these days, the new Stee, I look for shortcuts, I look for ways to get figures completed into the tabletop as soon as possible, and as quickly as possible. And I've developed a few processes and techniques that I use to do this. This is evident in bolt action, where I'm flying through bolt action units at a stupid rate. I've actually never painted so fast in my entire life. But these guys, I thought, would I be able to apply the same techniques that I used for bolt action onto 40k miniatures, especially ones of the detail of these guys? And the answer is yes. Just applying exactly the same techniques, a simple base coat, a wash and highlights, just really basic, and they work. What I did was cover the whole model in Mephiston red. I then picked out the skulls and the Terminator badges. Anything that required a brown or wash was picked out at this stage. They then received a liberal dash of Agrax Earthshade all over them, as I am wont to do with most of my figures. Then I went in, picked out all the other details, and then when it came to the highlighting, I used, again, Mephiston red with a dash of sunny skin tone to create a lighter red. Now, I don't normally go to town with highlights on my bolt action figures, but with these guys, they're the Space Marines, the Terminators. Their armour has lots of defined edges, so I think taking a little bit more time on the highlighting of the armour was something I was quite prepared to do, and I did. And I'm actually quite chuffed with how they turned out, to be fair. Now, rather than subject you to my crappy autofocus on this camera, I'm going to throw up some photographs and talk through them as I go. So this is the Captain. Now this was the first the first miniature that I painted, and it was really quite quick to paint, 2 to 3 hours, as well as working on other things. I was really really quite amazed at how quickly I went through it and painted it. I just sit down and think, wow, I've just painted a Terminator in less than 3 hours. Again, just applying the technique and the process that I applied to bolt action. The next guy is a gnarly assault cannon. Again, wanted to keep them very, very basic, and I think the technique has worked. Next up was Mr. Skulls himself with lightning claws. Again, the technique works really well, and if you follow the 3-foot rule, as in figures should look okay from 3 feet, I think once you get these on a space look board, they're going to look really well. The last two are just basic Terminator brothers with storm bolters, and again, still quite detailed for your basic Terminator, and they were enjoyable to paint. They really were very enjoyable to paint. But I've blasted through the first squad in no time at all, and I'm just waiting to start the second. The captain of that squad is a captain or a sergeant. I'm not up on my 40k stuff these days, so I could be wildly wrong there. But he's waiting to be painted. He's been base coated, and I'm going to work on him at some point in the near future. Also, while I was painting, I got to think about the Genestealers. Now, I've never painted Genestealers in my entire life, so this is a new one on me. Specifically the Broodlord. This is a brilliant model. Again, snap fit, but the pose, the detail, I couldn't help but start. I was gonna do this at the very end, but I started it as soon as I finished a couple of the Terminators. I just worked on it until it was finished, and absolutely cracking model. And then here's your basic Genestealer here. Again, limited palette, didn't use too many colours on them, and I think when it comes to painting the Genestealers, I'm going to batch paint these in about batches of 10. I think I'll be able to get them done in a couple of sessions. They are detailed, but not many colours on there, and I'm looking forward to getting them painted. I'm playing a fully painted game of Space Hulk, which I haven't done since early 90s, back at our games club. So looking forward to that. Once I've painted the whole lot, I'm going to do a kind of a follow-up video to show you what the entire collection looks like in its entirety. But that'll be moving forward, as I'm going to start working these again at some point next week. Well, I hope you found that short video enjoyable. Like I said, if you can pick up a copy of Space Hulk, I'd recommend it. It's a great game. It's pick up and play, and it's fast paced, and the Imperium aren't overpowered or superpowered, and in fact most of the games I've played, the Genestealers end up tearing lumps off the Space Marines, because the Genestealers just seem to be so much better. But pick up a copy for yourself and find out. It's a brilliant game and highly recommended. Well, thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and as always, take care, may your dice roll well, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.